Hello everybody, this is Sandra, and today I'm making sweet and savory apple maple jam. Because I was like, wait a minute, is it a jam or is it a syrup? Anyway, I think it really supposed to be a jam. Anyway, we're going to see. I'm in the Ball Blue Book, Guide for Preserving, on page 122. Now, it's also in the other Ball book that I use all the time, the big one. I really don't use this book too often because it's kind of the same stuff in the other book, but like me, the other book is more informative, so that's why I use that one all the time. But anyway, basically this is kind of a dump and go pretty much recipe, like most jams and jellies are. But it asks for 3 quarts of chopped apples, or about 6 pounds. Now let me say something about the apples. When I prefer to go by the pounds, okay, because some recipes will say okay, they may say 6 medium apples. Okay, to me, size is subjective, so I like to go by weight. Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there. You might take a note of caution, because that might be why sometimes when you do recipes, instead of having 6 pints like you expected, you might end up with 4 or 5.5 or whatever. I'm just saying, okay? So then there's 6 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon allspice, 1/2 teaspoon nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon cloves, all that right there. And then 1 cup of maple syrup. Now in this recipe, it does not ask you for any pectin. So based on my experience with jams, me and jams, we kind of got a love-hate relationship right now, because sometimes it will gel like it's supposed to, sometimes it doesn't. So I do have my saucer in the freezer just so I can test it to see if I will or not need my liquid pectin. Okay, I got my pectin out just as a precautionary measure. Usually with when you're doing jams and jellies, the reason why I'm using liquid pectin this time is because when you use powdered pectin, you have to put the powdered pectin in before you do the sugar. Okay, you might can put some of the other spices in, whatever, but you have to put the powdered pectin in before you put in your sugar. So I'm not sure how this is going to come out, so I'm using the liquid pectin, because liquid pectin you can use after all your ingredients have been put in. Okay, so like I said, it's just a precautionary measure. I may need it, may not need it. And of course, there are my apples. And yes, my apples are beginning to brown a little bit, but you know what? I really don't care. Okay? Some people are picky about that. It really doesn't matter to me because it's going to be cooked and everything. I'm not tripping because my apples might turn a little brown. I'm fine with it. Okay? Just fine with it. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put all these ingredients together. Bring it up to a boil. And it doesn't tell you, see where it says cook, it says combine all ingredients in a large saucepan, bring mixture to a boil over medium-high heat, stir until sugar dissolves, bring mixture to a rolling boil that cannot be stirred down, understand all that. Boil rapidly to gelling point. I don't know how long it's going to take. But anyway, stir to prevent sticking, remove from heat, skim off foam if necessary, okay? Yeah. And I do have my water bath canner over here. It's heating up. Got the eye on. It's heating up with my water. I do have my jars already cleaned and everything tossed to the side. Okay. Now, let me say something else too about the jars. Well, of course, you should always check your jars. Make sure, there's no cracks or everything. Make sure they're clean and everything, okay? Most recipes tell you if you're going to use hot product in a hot canner, use hot jars. But this is my experience, okay? Um, as long as your jars are not cold when you're using hot stuff, okay? Because I understand you don't want to shock your jars, but if I put this hot product into a room temperature jar, that jar just been heated up, okay? And it wasn't like it went from being cold, like it was in the refrigerator, to being in a hot counter, okay? So that's the way I think so far it's been helping so far. But doggone it, make sure you clean the joint though, okay? Please clean your jars. Because I've seen some people do some stuff, okay? Your jars and your lids and your rings. I've seen some people use lids straight out the box. If you ever worked in a warehouse before, and I have, you know, there's all type of critters there. Not only, you know, things like roaches and other bugs. You have mice, rats, lions, tigers, and bears on my. Just make sure everything's clean, y'all, okay? Just make sure everything's clean. Because it doesn't do any good to do all this. Even though it's going to be processed at least 10 minutes in the boil, which means it will be sterilized. But do you really want all that in your food? You don't, okay? That's type of protein I can do without. I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm going to come back when I have everything mixed together, all the good stuff, in there with that good stuff, and we're going to see if I need that stuff or not. But anyway, back in a minute. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half almost later, and okay, one mistake I made. It says cut them into 1/2 inch pieces. I cut them in 1 inch pieces, okay? Because I noticed it wasn't breaking down like it was supposed to. So what I did, I took some of it out and used that Big Daddy right there, my food processor, to break them down. Now it looks like I need to look, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and can them in my jars. And instead of using half pint size jars, I'm using pint size jars. Because I don't feel like opening up another case of half pint size. Anyway, so the direction says process in the water bath counter for 10 minutes. I'm going to do it for 15 minutes. And I will be back when I'm done. Okay, everybody, this is my apple maple jam. You hear them popping? Okay, I end up with 3 pints, well, 3.5 pints. And the recipe says I should have gotten 8 half pints. So really, it should have been another full pint instead of almost a half pint. And I'm going to attribute that to some few errors I made. I think because I didn't cut my apples down to 1/2 inch, and I did 1 inch. Anyway, that it took longer, and because it's taking longer, you know, there's more evaporation. That's what I'm thinking. And plus, also remember, this stuff is not an exact science anyway, so yeah. But I did taste it. It does taste good, okay? And as far as the liquid pectin, I did not need it. I was kind of thinking with the maple syrup I wasn't going to need it anyway, and I did not. So anyway, try it. I think you will be happy with it. So yeah. But anyway, I'm getting out here because I got to go to work. Anyway, peace out, y'all.